makes sense. You help me. He dried my tears away and gave me a brighter day.
Hello, and welcome to GCMS Podcast. I am author Tanisha R. Franklin, the author of the series God Changed My Story. And here's with my co-host, author Cynthia Best.
How's it going?
Good. Yes, she is an author. Please check out our Facebook and IG page so you can get information on her book. It is amazing. Make sure you check that out.
Yes.
We are excited to be back doing the next episode.
And it's gonna be a good one.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Yes. We are late. This is our second recorded episode together. So I am so excited. But before we get started, I do want to talk about Black History Month.
Yeah.
How amazing it is. February is Black History Month. I want to say thank you to all of the people who have made a way and the ones that continue to make a way.
Absolutely.
Because it ain't just the past, it's still the present. We have so much out here that are making a way, and it's amazing.
Yeah, because history is being made every day, especially in our community and in our race. So, yeah, I'm representing. So I don't know where you're.
I ain't representing today. Sorry, look, I got something representing God. Hey, look.
All right, that'll work. He is history. History.
Yes, you are representing. I told my son he gotta do a book report, and that's who he picked. So.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So I had him come on here and give a couple things about Malcolm X.
Yes.
And also February is Hearts Month. So we just want to give a shout out to all of those who have had heart transplants, who are dealing with heart disease, who have lost loved ones. I am a big thing of looking up each month because each month there is awareness month. So I like to look that up, and we will be giving shout outs to that each month.
Absolutely.
So let's get started tonight. But before we get started again, always don't forget to follow us on Facebook, IG, TikTok, and what else?
Hit that like and share.
Yeah, do that too. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel at GCMS, which is capitalized God Changed My Story, which is lowercase. So we want to get into our topic on tonight. The topic that we are going to be discussing tonight is learn to forgive. And the scriptures that I am going to be reading from, y'all know I'm reading from Tony Evans, so it is going to read a little bit different. But the first scripture that I'm going to read from is going to be Matthew 6:14. And it says, "For if you forgive others their offenses, your heavenly Father will forgive you as well." But I want to go to 15 too, because I was looking at that. "But if you don't forgive others, your Father will not forgive your offenses." And another one that I love too is Ephesians 4:31 and 32. It says, "Let all bitterness, anger, and wrath, shouting and slander be removed from you, along with all malice." 32 says, "And be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving one another, just as God also forgave you in Christ." So those are the scriptures we are going to be coming from. So again, our topic is learn to forgive. This was a big one for me because forgiving, I think let me go into the questions and I'll get more into it. So our first question is going to be, why is it so hard for people to forgive? You want to start that off? You need to start.
It could be hard for a number of reasons. When someone brings an offense against you.
Yes.
Or when someone harms or hurts you, we're not thinking about the reason why they did it. We're thinking about how it offended us or made us feel.
Good, yeah.
So it's a whole dynamic of, why it's hard for some people to forgive. But I'm interested to hear what it is that you think about that before we.
So I can just come from my experience.
Yeah.
Because because it's different aspects of what happened. I think that's the main thing, like what happens. You know, for me, it was hard. I'll use my father because that's part of what, you know, my book. It was hard for me to forgive him because of different instances in my life. He left me. And then as a kid, I was molested by someone close, and I blamed him for that.
Okay.
So it was that hatred there, and it was just really hard for me to get past that because I was hurt. Instead of looking at the person. That's what God began to show me, because when people do things, it's still a spirit. They do things. Sometimes people do things, don't know they're doing it.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes the enemy uses people and they don't know they're being used. And they will do things, they'll say things, and they don't. Some people know. Yeah, they know what they're doing, and some don't. And in my father's instance, God took me back because there was so much in my dad's past. But as a kid, you don't know all of that. And as you get older, and that was my thing, God showed me. You know, because I knew that I had to forgive him, because that was something that Bishop Dean would teach us on. Like, you got to forgive. I'm in church, and that's one of the biggest things. Like, and hate is big.
Very,
you know,
very
and
much so.
But nobody really taught me these things until I began to go there. So it was just that thing, and I think it was so hard because that was my father. And as a kid, you look at your mother and your father, and you expect certain things. And I think he left me at 5.
Yeah.
That if he left me at older, I may have been able to, but at the age of 5, I began to blame him for anything. So that was hard for me as a kid to forgive, looking at the situation in my life. And it's not just that, but there's other things. I think it's the situation and what people did. And the biggest thing is I didn't really truly understand until I got into my word about spirits, about you got to look past this person, you got to do this. I didn't understand none of that.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting you speak about your father, because in my book, I'm writing about, my book is about forgiveness as well.
Check it out.
And like I said, there's a number of things that the concealing, the hiding, the secrecy.
Yes.
You know, so all these things play a factor as to, you know, why it's hard for people to actually forgive. And I know for me, it wasn't just a quick "I forgive you," or because it was a lot of people involved. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it was a lot of people involved, and this was something that, you know, fell in my lap. You know, so when the truth is ready to come forth, nothing, even death, can keep it from coming forth. And so it's a lot of factors to why it's so hard for some people, and a lot of people just can't get past, you know what I'm saying, the initial act of the offense. So we can go on and on about that, but I think it boils down to that individual. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it does.
That person that was offended, that person that was hurt. And to be honest, it takes a second. Anybody say that forgiveness in the natural aspect is instant? No. It's not telling the truth.
And it really depends on too. I think that this is like a point. Because we did do an episode on this. I think it was last year. It may have been around this time, February, March. And I think that what we were talking about, it depends on where you're at, and it depends on where you're at in your faith and your relationship with God, your walk with God. Because when I was, nobody couldn't tell me nothing. Like, you know how many people call me, like, my brother will call and he'll call and be in front of my dad. And I'm like, I didn't care. And I didn't care how it made him feel. But when I began to get closer with God and get a closer relationship, it bothered me. It made me think, what if something happens to my dad? And that's what happened. I didn't know my dad was dying. I didn't. The first thing he said to me is like, out of all my kids, I thought I'd never see you again. He never told me. But I got to go there, and I got to talk to him for 2 years, I think it was, before he passed away. I was in a different spot, and I was able to go and apologize, because I didn't understand that, where Bishop would be speaking like, well, you got to go apologize to him too. And I'm like,
apologize for what?
Apologize.
Right.
Yeah.
And what are you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, and I'm sitting here like, this, you know, I'm going to be honest, because this is where I was. I'm not there now.
Yeah.
But I would be sitting in church like, this man is crazy. You know, and I'm sitting here listening to his stories like, please. My dad ain't do all that, but I still ain't forgive him. But when I did, it was like exactly what he said. He's like, it's just like a big weight, or desk is going to be lifted. When I went over there, I apologized to him. He said, you don't owe me an apology. I said, yes, I do. I said, because I sat in church and I hated you. And I said, God says, 1, you are my father. I must honor you. 2, I must forgive you regardless of what you did. Like, you can't go back and redo what you did.
Right.
That's the whole point. Like, we get so upset. Even when people apologize, we say we accept it. But if we truly are not heal from that experience, we don't accept it. Because you could come all day and say, Tanisha, I'm sorry I did this. But every time you walk through the room, I'm like, Cynthia.
And that goes back to forgiveness is not just an instant.
Yes.
We make it seem as if it is.
Yes.
Or, someone offends us, I apologize. And it's okay. But in reality, it's not okay, because you're still wounded by the offense that they did or was done unto you. So for me, I went through stages. You know what I'm saying? I went through a whole lot of stages to reach the point to where it wasn't that resentment. It wasn't that, that disrespect, that feeling of, ugh. You know what I'm saying?
And that's how, and that's how you're over that point. And it's so much with it. I think the fact that you never forget what happens, and that's where I think the enemy comes in and uses that against us, and that's why it's so hard, because you could be like, oh, I forgave, but what if you haven't seen that person in a while, and you like, okay, if I don't see you did something to hurt me, and I don't see you, it makes it good, I can get over, but once I see you, it may still be a trigger, or the enemy might say,
everything
like,
goes back.
Yeah, remember she did this, and she's still doing it. Oh, she didn't care, or so all these things go in your mind, but it also goes with anything else. It's your mind that you have to make sure that is right. That's where it comes, where you gotta fast, you gotta pray, you gotta be in this word. It all comes together, because you can't. I always tell people you can't do one without the other.
You can't. And Ephesians explains that really good. These are the things that we're in control of: the anger, the bitterness, the resentment.
Yes.
These things are within our power to dominate, to control. And so that's a good question. Why is it hard for people? Because many people rather look at what was done to them, as opposed to the whole picture. Because guess what? Even though you were offended or offense has come unto you, you're not innocent either. And then there are some that don't do anything to anyone, maybe that particular one, but you've done things, you know what I'm saying,
that is true,
that later on down that no one knew about, or that hey, maybe this is your, as the world say, karma. But
my son says all the time,
it's a lot of reasons why people find it hard to forgive. But our objective tonight is to try to get them to open up to embracing, forgiveness, because we've heard it said before, forgiveness is really not about the other person. It's about the person that was offended, and I found that to be true. When you hold that bitterness, that resentment, when you harbor these anger and all these feelings and emotions that comes along with it, do you know you got people and family members that are mad at each other 20, 30, 40 years, and by now you don't even know what you're mad at each other for. You don't even know why y'all fell out. You don't even know none of that. You don't remember none of that.
Because you bring your family into it.
Yeah.
I can remember growing up where it's like, why are we mad at her? I don't understand it. I still don't.
You say, why we
understand? Yeah, why are we mad at her? Because it's the whole family. You have your kids. You can't go to so-and-so house. I could talk about this now, and I'm not talking about nobody in my family, but I still don't understand. It's my mom and my aunt. My mom and my dad's sister. They best of friends. Now love each other. I don't even think they knew why they was mad at each other. But it was always, I can't even remember why. I think it was her eyes prettier. They both got pretty eyes. One got hazel green eyes. But I think it was just something, I don't know what it was, but now they laugh about it because it's like, why? You know, it was just crazy. But because of the fact of it, it involved us as kids. It involved me and my brother and my cousin Perry. It involved us all because he couldn't come to our house, you know, or I can't go over there. Why? You mad at her? I ain't mad at her. And she don't misuse us. You know, we go there. She wasn't. It was just like that craziness, but it's
and
just
then you
like,
said they good now, but think about all that time.
That time that passed.
That has passed, and that was really lost in essence of, you know, memories, building on the relationship, you know, things to that nature.
But I think that's like healing too. You know what I'm saying? For both sides, it's something there. You know what I'm saying? It provokes you when you're not fully healed from something. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna provoke you to like not. Yeah. It's gonna be something, because if I'm not healed from something and then you come over and it's something that you're like,
and this is how you know this is how you know that you haven't rendered total forgiveness, because those triggers, we're gonna name it, we're gonna put the name on it, and they're absolutely triggers, you know, just like in any situations, whether it's addiction, you know, whether it's, you know, sexual addiction, whether it's eating addictions, triggers, you know, your trauma triggers. And like you said, you may have not seen that person for a minute, and then they come, you know, walking in an event, and here you go. Well, that's a little something right there to let you know that you still need a little more work in that area, in that thing that you say that you have forgive and actually haven't.
Yes, that is good. That is really, really good. So our next question says, why is it important for people to forgive?
I think you said it, you read it in Matthew. You know, Matthew 6. And it can't get no more simpler than that, you know, for those that believe. Let me put it that way, because we have those that don't believe, that holds on to their guilt, their anger, their resentment, their rage. They hold on to these things to justify why they won't, not that they can't, why they won't forgive. And so it's important, because for me as a believer in God and in his only begotten Son, the word clearly tells us if we do not forgive, then our Heavenly Father won't forgive us. And for me, getting to that place to where forgiveness has total reign over the offense, over the person, over, you know, the situation that caused the harm, that caused the hurt. It wasn't just no one-time thing. And even now I still have to practice, you know what I'm saying, that I still have to put on the garments of forgiveness, even when I see them, because triggers come back. It could be 20, 30 years, and, you know, they could say something that you don't like, and then there you go. All over again.
And that's the thing too, because you guys understand, like not you, but just people have to understand that. I was just telling somebody this on Sunday, that when you get closer to God, those attacks are going to come, and they're going to come from where you were once weak at, and you're going to see it, especially forgive. That's a big thing. So the enemy's going to come. He's going to come. It's like, it seemed like, man, and I told this person, I said, I'm going to tell you like this. I said, I remember I saved twice, and it's the best thing you could do. It is. But also, nobody said that these attacks were going to be worse. Yeah. They didn't tell me that things were going to resurface, you know, and especially like when I'm having this relationship with God, God help me, help my mind, God, show me where am I hurting at, God, show me my heart. That was the big thing. And this was recent, within probably last couple months. I took a class, and in the class she said, if you really want to know exactly like what your real purpose is and where you need to heal from, ask God to show you your heart. And I did, not knowing that. I'm like, man, so I had to go through this process. Even going to counsel, I had to go through this process, like, this is where I'm at. What are your goals? This is what I want to do. But I had to understand that if this I'm just gonna say person, because I'm not getting to use in my life, but if this person, I can go on with me, I can be okay with it, but I have to know how far to go with this person, because if this person is not willing, I still gotta. Cause I can't say because this person ain't willing, then I can't forgive this person. I gotta keep going on being bitter, mad, angry. When what is it doing for me?
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? It
Keeping you
affects
in
my
body.
life, my house, my
Your
husband,
health.
my kids, all those things.
Yeah.
So it was just a big thing where it's like, God, I really in the last year, I was like, God, okay, I got all this stuff. I know the stuff that you're showing me. What is it that you have for me to do? And one of the things was, I need you to go back and look at the situation. I need you to get this right before I can move. You can go forward in what I have for you. And it was a hard thing, but it was like, okay, where I'm at, I'm like, you know what? Each day, God, what is it you have for me to do? Because I could wake up and not be here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm sitting here like, I ain't. Today, I guess I ain't.
Yeah, right.
Like God said, I got it right. I got all the time in the world. You don't have all the time in the world.
You do not.
But tomorrow, anything could happen. I could wake up and my husband.
Not tomorrow, today.
Yeah, today before we leave, anything could happen.
Yeah.
And that was in my mind. Like, Tanisha, you don't have kidney disease no more. You're kidney failure. And at any time you see in the news, all these people, the boy from Dawson Creek, and it's cancer. You know, all these people, I told myself, these people leaving out here before, like, under 50. Just leaving out here, finding out they got cancer and they so young. Before, you would see people older. And it's not saying because they older, but it's like, God is getting our attention. This means some stuff.
Trying to anyway, and when we look at the fact of the definition of forgiveness, you know what I'm saying, and how forgiveness is making a conscious. You have to consciously choose to move beyond the offense that was done unto you, the harm, the hurt that was done unto you. And oftentimes we don't try to understand the reason why that person did what they did or said what they said. And so we have to make a conscious decision, and it's not so easy because the main thing why it really is so hard is because our feelings.
That's good.
Because of our feelings and how we were made to feel. And what we think about how we was made to feel or what was done unto us. So I think that was one of the main number one reasons why it's hard for people to just cast aside and struggle in that area of forgiveness and in that capacity, and because we're fixated on what was done unto us. But I was taught, and my mother always say, for every action there's a reaction. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, you see where I'm going with this?
I see.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you keep going. Keep going, because that's good, because it's like, you think about it, you don't think about it, and that you say, I'm like, man, that's okay,
yeah.
And it's the feelings.
Yeah.
We always, it's the feelings in any situation. It's the feelings, like, and I was like, when you start saying that, because I don't know, we talked about last week, but my husband will always say, like, you and your feelings. I ain't in my feelings. Then I get mad
and that's how you don't throw it off on yourself. You don't make him right. You proved him to be right because
he was like, you need to get out your feelings. I ain't in my feelings. And now I'm shaking my head. It's so funny because he will always say that, and I would be so mad, but God showed me I was in my feelings. Like when I begin to get in this book and I begin to get my prayer life together, when I begin to really fast, God began to show me. And it was in this book right here, in this book. That's where I got dived in deep, because God was showing me, I'm writing this. As I'm writing this book, He telling me these things.
Absolutely.
Everything. That's why it says after healing a new beginning, because there were parts of me that had to heal before I could be the wife and the mother that they really needed. I was there, and to them, my son said, "You the best mom in the world," but I was broken a lot, and it wasn't my husband's fault that I was broken. It was a lot of me,
unresolved, undealt with, and so let me go on record stating that feelings are not wrong. You know what I'm saying? To have feelings, this is what one of the five senses. So this is what was already there in us, but it's the harboring on the feelings. I think if we acknowledge the offense that was done, we let the offender know that, listen, what you did, what you said, you know what I'm saying? It wounded me. But we can't have those kind of conversations. We can't have that kind of dialogue because it's like, well, get over it. Get out your feelings. You know what I'm saying? And you find that a lot in the workplace. And get out your feelings. You know, no, Susie. You know, I'm not gonna get out my feelings. We're gonna talk about this.
Right, so because they're scared. Get out your feelings.
Because you don't have no more times. None.
Yeah, or they want to say that to make it seem like they right. Get out your feelings. Like, no, we're gonna discuss this. I ain't in my feelings. We gotta talk about this.
And that's a smoke screen, you know, for the most part, because when I say get out your feelings, I already know that I said something, you know what I'm saying, to cause you to get in your feelings. And so if we're going to call a spade, it's a two for a thing. But when it comes to actually, you know, forgiving, you know, the victimizer or moving past the hurt and pain, we have to earnestly and consciously put forth that effort in saying no. Bitterness, you're not going to set up residence here. Anger, you're not going to lord over me in capacity to what this person may have done to me or may not do that I wanted them to do and they didn't do it, so I take offense to that. Or in the name calling, whatever it is that, you know, harm or offense has come, we have to consciously, consistently, because we say we forgive somebody all the time. And in actuality, we don't. Because it's not a surface thing. In order to get to that true forgiveness, you got to peel back those layers. You got to go down beneath the surface. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you have to go, like, you really have to go way back. And sometimes you don't even know what it is until God reveals it to you. And I say that because, like I said, in the last 6 months, it was like, oh my goodness. It was things, because me, as a kid, I learned how to block stuff out. I would block it out because it was just like, okay, I got to block it out. I mean, that's just how my mind works. And it would resurface. Things begin to resurface. And it's like, man, oh my goodness, this really happened. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, this was not right.
And it's going to continue to resurface until you actually deal with that situation. Mine was resentment. I would come into the church and it wasn't just that one person. Like I said, multiple people were involved. Mine was resentment. I had allowed resentment to set up in my heart. So now I'm not hearing anything that you may be saying, which could be helpful for me, but I'm not even receiving it because I resent you so much. You know what I'm saying?
And that word could be for you. You like, I ain't finna hear that who's giving the word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That is, yes. That's a point my husband, he made too to me. Because I just come home and be like, I'll just say stuff and he'd be like, you really like, he's like, you got to get past the person. You have to learn who people are and put them in this category and don't let it bother you, because he said that to me, like, it could be a word for you, but you ain't even getting the word because you're so focused on the person.
Yeah, Kathy,
you know,
Kathy would tell me all the time, eat the meat and throw away the ball. Has she said that to you?
No, she ain't never said that.
She would always tell me, eat the meat and throw away the ball. Well, what if I want to use the ball to make some, you know what I'm saying? Why I got to throw away the ball, the whole ball?
Yeah. That is funny.
But the point
eat the meat, throw away the ball. I'm just trying to get a point.
Right, the point was,
and you throw away the ball.
The point was, don't focus on the messenger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Try to get the message. Yeah. You know, in all of that. And for a long time, I struggled with that.
Yeah, and sometimes God is like, get a word through.
Yeah.
You know, like somebody else, because, like, you know, people always say, like, my girl would always tell me that. She would always say it like they say it now, like, you know, you in church. I think somebody spoke on it a while back saying, look around, 50% of people are still going to be here, 50% are leaving. And my grandma would tell me that, but she would always say to me, she was like, when you go to church, don't get too into the church realm, get into the relationship. Because she said that some of these sinners that they talk about are going to make it in, and some that's in the church ain't. And I didn't understand that until now. You know, you looking, because as a kid, you like, well, this is the church, granny. Like, I'm still little. And she's explained this to me as a kid so I can understand this. And as I got older, I heard it. And I would always hear her too when I would get upset when people would talk about me. She said, When they talked about Jesus Christ, why they ain't gonna talk about you?
Absolutely.
That stayed in my head. And I think
Granny
about that.
had that wisdom, and
Yes.
Granny knew what Paul knew, because Paul talks about that, people getting up preaching ill will, out of this, out of that, and they themselves be a castaway. So that's something that they shouldn't strive to do,
Correct.
Let every man examine their own heart. And so we know when we're still harboring ill will or ill feelings towards an individual, no matter if it's 10, 5, 2, 6 months. We know when we have something that is still festering there. And a lot of people choose to embrace that because you offended me. You know what I'm saying? Or you betrayed me. And no. But in forgiveness, we must understand that, and I hear a lot of people say this, and I'm going to say it, but I don't agree with it in totality. And it's still an individual choice. Forgiveness is a commandment that we're giving per God's word for those who believe in and trust in Him. It's not an option. It's not anything that take it or leave it. This is something that He commanded us to do. Because if we don't do that, then this is what He's not going to do. You know what I'm saying? But reconciliation, that's not a commandment. Reconciliation is something that, if the parties agree, can be worked towards. But here's where I struggle with that when I say that I don't 100% agree with that, because if we're talking spiritual and God redeemed man back unto Himself, isn't that the reconciliation that, what I'm saying, we often don't want to give to that person that hurt us or the person that betrayed us? So people say, I forgive you. And in partiality is true, but I don't have to have anything else to do with you. But in my mind's eyes, not saying that I have to run with you every day or things go back to the way they used to be. They can't, because there was a breach. You know what I'm saying? But you can move forward from that. So when they say you don't have to reconcile with that individual, I often think on how God forgave us through His Son, and He reconciled us back unto Him. So how can it not, in my mind? Now, I'm not saying that I'm right, because I don't know all things. It's just how I'm thinking when I hear certain things, and when I try to, incorporate God's Word and the truth of God's Word and the way that He set things up for us and the believers to follow. So there is a process, there is a system in all things dealing with the Word of God and the lessons that He's trying to get us to learn through His Word that is applicable to our everyday life. That's really practical. And I know a lot of people struggle in this area of forgiveness, and for one, because of their feelings and because of their pride and because of their ego. And they're only thinking about what was done unto them, never taking out the time to stop and think about, have I been conducive to? Have I aided and abetted in this person blowing up on me? Spazzing out on me or doing whatever it is that they did to hurt my feelings or harm me. So this is a great topic, and this is something that can be really, talked about on 2, 3, 4, 5 series, because it's not just an instant thing. If you really want to be honest about it, forgiveness is a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. Now, it can happen with God's Spirit and God's direction, but it's still not an instantaneous thing, because it's still going to be some layers to that. And the number one thing we was talking about was the triggers. Yeah. It was something that you just said. You said that people say, like, I forgive you, but I don't have to have anything else to do with you. I think that stops a person from wanting to have that relationship, because you're already having your mind, I'm going to forgive you, but I ain't going to have nothing to do with you. But if you say, I forgive you, because I say all the time, like, people come to me like, how do you do it? Like, this is this, because when I really sat down and thought about it, like, why am I bitter and mad about what you did to me
why is that going to hinder me from moving forward?
Yeah.
Because that's hindering me from being happy, hindering me from doing my purpose, hindering me from doing a lot of things. That's why God's like, I need you to forgive, because if you don't forgive, you ain't gonna be able to do my purpose.
Right.
If I get out here now, like I was like, okay, I need you to focus on this, because I need you to write this book. So if I'm out here writing this book and somebody come up to me, and it could be somebody that I wrote about, and their names ain't in it.
I know you're talking about me.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about me.
That could happen.
Right.
But.
Or what if you have to work with Sister Moo Moo down in the kitchen?
Yes, yes. And that's another thing. It's like, I think people be mad at me at church because I'm in that. Back then when I wasn't there, like when I came here, I do it back with you, because I didn't understand. But now I laugh at people. I know they be like, they don't want to talk to me. Hey, when we don't go, hey, give them a big hug, and they be like, you can tell me, so I be cracking up and I be smiling because I be good. Like, God, I'm good with this. Like, God, help them, because I ain't really, and half the time it's like, Lord, I ain't really did nothing to them. Like, half the people at church really don't really know me to where you mad at me about something. If I said something to you, I'm sorry. Tell me what I said,
Well, because I'm a straight shooter, and I'm saying, and I don't miss my words. I that comes along with who it is that God made me to be. And no, I don't go around intentionally trying to offend anyone, but at the same time, I'm not going to spare your feelings you know what I'm saying?
It's not
I'm not going to
because it's like, I'm trying to, I'm letting you know that what happened, or even if I knew what happened to us and you still can't speak to me, or you doing something, I'm letting you know that was last week. I'm moving forward. I'm letting you know that it does not bother me. Like, I am that person. Like, even people, they'll sit back and things that happen to me, I'm like, I am good. I wish nothing on anyone. I was like, I don't wish nothing bad on anyone. Like, I want everybody to be happy. I want all of that. I do, because and once you get into the book, heaven and hell is real. Do I want to see somebody go to hell? No. You know what I'm saying?
Then again, that's their choice.
Yes, because if I'm gonna forgive you so I can talk to you about this, because it's like, if you did to me. But then also, what we have to realize is what I taught my son, is that if you never get an apology, you still have to forgive.
Absolutely.
And that's one big thing that we hit. Well, they ain't apologize to me, I ain't gonna forgive them. No.
Yeah.
It does not matter, because they may not apologize today on their deathbed, or they might die not apologizing.
Right.
And you still stuck here hurting because they never gave you that apology. If I never got that apology from my father, I was fine with it. I was going that day to apologize for me.
And
now for him, he had to do that, and he did do it.
And that's what it's about. Listen, our time has come to where we're gonna have to wrap this up, and this is something that we're probably gonna have to revisit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't even get to the third question. Which is really a good one, but. This is something that a lot of people struggle with, and a lot of people see it as but if they only knew the power of forgiveness and the liberty in which it brings, they would really embrace it.
They would, yeah. It brings so much to you in life. Yeah. It brings so much peace. Yeah. It brings so much happiness.
Agility.
It brings just so much. Yeah. And like, I'm just talking about this, I'm about to get teary-eyed because it has kept me bounded for so many years. In so many areas, but the topic tonight was learn to forgive. Like, we're on here telling you, learn to forgive.
Find it,
Study this word, because that's where you have to, if you don't understand it, study it. Ask, when you get into prayer, ask God those questions. Yeah. When I'm praying, I'll be talking to God like I'm talking to you. Like, not like I'll be like me, but it's like, God, like, when I'm having a moment, if I call you on the phone, I'm having a moment, I know I'll raise my voice like, God. But, sometimes I'll be like, God, and I'm like, God, I wasn't yelling at you. That's right, bring it back down. I'm like, God, I'm just in my feelings. I'm crying. I'm like, and sometimes he be like, I was waiting on that. He was waiting on me to come to him crying and say, I need you, instead of being like,
because
God,
he steps
in. He needs it. But I'm just saying, like,
he steps in and he lifts all the burdens. And so, we hate to have to go. Yes. But our time has come. Tune in. Yes. Hit that like, hit that share button. Please. Because God has changed our stories in our lives. And I know that there are many others that He has done the same for you. And I know that there's others that are still holding on to
Yes.
anger, bitterness, resentment,
Yes.
everything else that comes along with being hurt and not forgiving. Any last?
No, just don't forget, check out the YouTube channel at
Okay.
GCMS, capitalized God Changed My Stories. And go back and look at last month's.
Yeah.
Go back and look at some of the previous ones, and that'll help you get through tonight. And go
Yeah.
back and look at the other one about forgiveness.
Yeah.
But like she said, God is just like He changed our story. He is changing your
It-
story.
yeah.
It's a process.
It
Everything's
is a process.
And we are so happy that you tuned in tonight.
Absolutely.
And we will see you guys next month. We can't wait.
Can't wait.
Have a blessed night. Bye.
Now everything's alright since your help